Alright, so now we're ready to start cutting our leathers. As you can see down here, I've got a bit of a little grid. I got this tape, got some tape measures so we can see some distance, and here I've got my two lines here. That's the distance between the leathers when I go to cut them for the length of the hole. As you can see, it's exactly a penny wide. I don't know how that worked out, it just did. So that's the length I use for cutting them, unless I'm using a really thick or a really wide leather, in which case I go a little bit longer, but that's pretty much my standard. And again, the way I cut my leathers is just one hole. You'll see some leathers where they weave it in and out twice at the top. I'm not a big fan of that. Much better performance and shooting accuracy with just one hole in there. So that's what we're going to go with today. So again, that's to me the length. Up here, this is going to be the amount, 2 inches up here to my green tape line. That's going to be the length of leather we're going to have exposed on the top. So if we're going to lay our leather down, lay it right on that line there. So I've got my 2 inches for the gap, extra little bit of tail, and this is the area where I'm going to be cutting, right in here. I like to cut on the back side, the rough side of the leather. I don't know why, I just do. So grab a handy dandy marker. Once I have this leather lined up on here, put a little dot right there close to the middle, and a dot over here close to the middle, again on my two lines here that have that width of a penny. So now I've got, you know what, I'll go ahead and make this dot show up a little better so we can see it on camera. You don't have to use a marker, you can use a pencil if you don't want it to show, no big deal. So as you can see, I got my two dots, and that's where I'm going to cut. So now here comes the part where if we're younger, maybe we have a parent help us out. Maybe an older brother, older sister, somebody, because we're going to be using, dun dun dun, uh-oh, that was scary, the camera almost fell over. Alright, so we'll be using an X-Acto knife. These are tricky. I've got a lot of scars on my hands from these things. Gotta be careful. So again, you can kind of see I've got a couple divots on my desk where I do a lot of cutting of the leather. So I want to find a nice even place. You don't want it kind of warped or beveled in, because then the leather will go that way and your cut won't be straight. So I got a nice smooth spot. Lay that leather out nice and flat. And again, I'm just going to start with my X-Acto knife. Right on that top dot we made when we get in the middle of the leather, and I'm not going to press really hard the first pass through just in case my line isn't straight. So we're going to start coming across the leather. If that looks like it's right in the middle, go ahead, make a second cut, and I like to really push down right in the middle and then kind of ease up a little bit. And again, I'm going to do the same thing, and until the blade goes all the way through and the leather starts to wiggle. Once that happens, that means I know I'm through, so I can take my blade and I just kind of poke out the tip there. So you can see that tip, and this lets me know, yep, I'm right in the middle. That's where I want to be. So I'm going to go ahead, hold this out here, keep the leather straight. If you're just a little bit off center, you can kind of angle the leather when you pull. Since we're straight, we're just going to go ahead, pull the leather along, down to that dot. Now I'll flip it around, do the same thing up here towards the top. So again, got my blade coming through, and I'm just going to pull on the leather down here and pull it across the blade until it gets to where it wants to be. Now that I've got that, we want to close the X-Acto knife, put that blade away, and then we've got our hole. Pretty easy. So then we string that up, and just comes through. Of course, this would be attached to a head, otherwise it just fall off. And we just pull it through like that, and we're ready to go. And that would be, that's hanging off the head. There's your leather, nice and cut and ready to go. And you can see in some of the pictures on some of my traditionals, I actually tape these parts together once they get everything tightened down. Really gets a nice grip on there, and you can throw in some different colors of tape or jazz it up with some Sharpie, match everything else on your stick. Alright guys, well, this is how to condition a leather, and again, if you have any more questions, get a hold of me. I'm Coach Brian at midmax.com. Thanks.